Mr Chair, I want to carry on from my colleague Carmel Sepuloni on the theme of this piece of legislation, especially in respect of Schedule 1, the long-term plans, annual reports and annual plans, reducing the requirement on a local authority to consult with its community. And I raise a couple of practical examples from down my way in Christchurch. And I note in passing the author of this bill, the Honourable Rodney Hyde, the man who preaches openness, transparency, accountability, except when it comes to his own wallet and his own air tickets and a few other things that he has been less than open and transparent about, brings a bill in here couched as if it will make councils more accountable to their communities, more transparent to their communities, and then buried in this, of course, is a reduced requirement on those local authorities to actually consult on things like goals and community outcomes. Well, if you're going to give councils the ability to arbitrarily set goals for community outcomes and basically make it up as they go along, the question I have is how can a council be in touch with its community, how can it know what its community wants, what the goals and the outcomes are, if they're not prepared, and they should be compelled by this House and this legislation to actually consult with those communities. And I'll give this House a for instance, a real one. We have in the Christchurch City Council a move before the election to put market rents on ECEs, that's early childhood education centres, for the benefit of Kate Wilkinson, who says in my electorate that the cuts she's made in the government will only be $29,500. But I come back to the bill, sir, because I'm sure you're interested in that. If it were the case, as it was with a local authority in Christchurch, who, sir, didn't impose cuts on an ECE of $29,500, but did, sir, put forward a measure, those that were on council-owned land, to require them after 20, 30 or 40 years to have market rents, which would have put those ECEs out of business, something I know Ms Wilkinson's quite supportive of. Even though, say, Swannanoa, which is in the Waimakariri district, sir, is said publicly it will have a $100,000 cut this year, which actually happens, colleagues, to be a few hundred metres down the road from where Ms Wilkinson lives. She may have known that if she'd knocked on their door. She asks where I get my facts from. Try visiting an ECE down the road, a couple of hundred metres. So if it were the case, as it was, that the Christchurch City Council wanted to put ECEs which were on council land on market rents as they proposed, under this legislation there would be very limited, if any, opportunity formally to consult that community. What did happen in that case is the community was up in arms, the community said no way, there were meetings, there were protests, and the council backed down. Now that's called democracy, that's called listening. But this bill should be about transparency and accountability, and it should be a requirement in this legislation that councils are compelled, sir, to consult with their community. No option. You should consult. We know, of course, this government's not in favour of that because the community might say we don't like it. The community, hey presto, may say we're not going to allow a local authority to steamroll over our public opinion and do whatever the hell it likes. No reference to Mr Finlayson in that last quote. So I say that this bill is a sham and these schedules are a sham. It purports to be a bill holding councils to account, bringing councils closer to their community, aiding democracy. What it is really doing is reducing, in these schedules and in other parts of the legislation, the absolute requirement on councils to consult with their community. And we have members of Parliament in this chamber who are so out of touch, sir, so out of touch. One resides over there, sir, with their own community, Ms Wilkinson, who can't even understand how an ECE is funded, either by local government in terms of its property management, or the fact that at least all of them, 34 out of 54, will be subject to a cut, thanks to her government, of $700,000 to $800,000 a year.
Horrendous.
And the one down the road from where she resigns got a $100,000 cut, and she goes into the media and says, no, I've been told 22 of them will have $29,500 total in cut. Well, that shows how out of touch that member is, and she's been caned in the media today, which is quite good. It shows how out of touch she is. I say walk 100 metres down the road on Tram Road, Ms Wilkinson, might be too far for you. Knock on the door of Swannanoa ECE and ask them, before you wander into print, telling mistruths and being very slack with the facts.
Touche.